What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of some more Besiege. And today we are, well, releasing the Level Maker mod, which you could also see in the title. And this is something I'm very happy about. So let's just bring it up there. That is the console. That is not the Level Maker. There it is. That is beautiful. So me and the creator have been talking a little bit back and forth, and about a few bugs and kind of optimizing a lot of things. And you can probably see this thing right here has been added. For static. Now there was also something about this little display hidden thing here that also had a few bugs. So basically what I'm gonna do is explain more in-depth stuff so that people at any time can go back and watch this and be sure that they know every single little detail to be building different places, because actually it's a little bit tricky to build in the sandbox and also the barren expanse. So I guess I just kind of want to give you guys a little sum up of the previous video that I had, and there will also be another link to that in the description below. So this is just kind of a sum up of that. But basically what you have here is a little key mapper. If you press Control J, then that is going to appear. And this thing will be here if you have this sparse mod loader installed. And if you have mods, then it is installed. It says key mapper, but yeah, that's what that is. But either way, left Control J, and as you can see here, you can also change this in here. But basically for the Level Maker mod, what you need to look out for is this BLLE section. Let me just take a look at my current key bindings here. So Z and left click, that is my collect key binding. This means that I can basically, well, if I just go over here and I hold in Z and then I left click, watch to the left. There we go, I get the cottage, right? That is basically the collect commando here. The toggle UI is, well, left shift and O, on and off, pretty friggin' easy, and that is only for the Level Maker mod, nothing else. Just move that one over there, there we go. I don't know why I'm moving these around, I could just be talking, but I don't know. Either ways, the precise copy mode is a little bit different, and that you will need to use left shift and Z right here, or whatever you wish to confirm the selection. If you want to use the precise copy mode, you hold in Z and you click something, that now becomes blue. Now, here is the tricky part about the precise copy mode, because I'm gonna use my scroll wheel, and as I zoom in here, you can see that basically a few more things are going to get selected. This is what it does. It basically takes a parent object or a child object of another object, and then you can sort of copy the steps. You can basically go different steps. So as you can see here, that is the house. There's the other houses. There is something else. I'm not too sure what that is. Then you can see the trees in the background there as I zoom in and out. And then one more, and we have the entire freaking map. So now we basically copied the whole freaking sandbox. I'm not too sure that's gonna make sense, but okay. So if I just confirm my selection, which by the way was this little one down here, left shift and Z, then you're gonna confirm the selection for the precise copy mode. And so what I can do, if I just, well, shut that one down again. This is a little bit all over the place, but clear the level. Gear level, there we go, level sandbox, and then I place it with this commando right here, which is the collect thing, Z and mouse 0. That will also work for placing stuff. Now I don't really know how well this is gonna look, because this is an entire level and sometimes it does some weird stuff with the lights and whatnot, but let's try this. So I'm holding in Z, and there we go. Okay, it's a little bit lighter, actually, but yeah, you can basically copy the entire level. Now I have stumbled upon something just a little bit weird here, and I'll try to explain that, because actually this is not really that weird, to me at least. But basically what is happening here is that you have some game objects, like for instance all of the cottages over here, that you can copy, and then you can place these wherever the hell you want. What happened here? But yes, you can basically place these anywhere you want. So in case I just bring that up again, there we go, then I can just put many cottages all over the place, as you can see. But there are other things, for instance all of these mountains here, that basically have that fixed position, and that means that we cannot move them. They simply stay the same place no matter what. So there's the difference in between two different game objects, I guess. I mean, there are many different objects that have many different properties. There's also something weird about these tents right here, which is also why we included this, the for static. Alright, so we're just gonna be going to a different zone here, because I need to show you the for static stuff. These trees, they behave a little bit differently. So I'm just gonna copy that one right there, the blasted tree trunk. There we go. Place this little tree here, which is, oh god damn, that is big. Okay, not too sure why that is so huge. That may be something I need to talk to the developer about. Alright, so let's try to put this one down into the ground here. And as you can see, the build mode is still on, but this tree is behaving very strangely. This means it's basically active outside of the simulation. So whenever I pull this one up here, it will still keep on going. Now, the cool part about this is actually a little bit trippy, but the cool thing about this is it's basically controlled by the translation tool, like this one right here that I'm pulling up and down to move it, and also this right here. Oh fuck, okay, right, this is strange. This is why we have force static. I'm gonna try to pull the camera back, but as you can see, if I just pull on this one right here, you can basically also see on the background right there that it's kind of behaving a little bit strangely. This is why we have force static, people. This is insane. But if you want to get out of that mode, just simply click the eraser and everything is back to normal. Well, almost. And so also take the eraser, just delete that right there, because now I want to show you what happens when you use the force static. I guess this thing only kind of places the graphics of it in some cases. Again, it basically depends on the object or whatever. God, I hope this is not too confusing. It is for me. A little bit. But let's see what happens when we put it down into the ground now, because now force static is indeed on. Yeah, you see that? Nothing is happening. And we can even start the simulation and it is still standing right there. Or, well, floating. However, these other ones over here, they don't really reset, as you can see. And this is what I mean by active outside of the simulation. They don't reset when I start the level, which is a little bit weird. Right, so I'm just gonna hop on into this zone here because there are still just a few other things that I need to show you guys in terms of the whole force static thing. So first of all, pay attention to what happens when we put down a barrel. As you can see, that kind of hit the ground, like it's basically, once again, active outside the simulation. That's one thing. Now, if I just pull this one up here and I drag it around just a little bit and I kind of knock it into stuff, you know what, I guess we can even do, yeah, we can actually just kind of move it up and down and I guess it's gonna happen. So it starts to spin around, again, because it's active outside the simulation. And the barrel is a little bit tricky itself, like they have some sort of custom properties that kind of make each individual object just a little bit tricky, which is why we got the force static thing. But if I start the simulation here, you can basically see the barrel teleports down into the ground. Now, I just stopped the simulation again, and yeah, okay, there it is. So it is now below the ground. Let's see what happens when we pull it up there. Yeah, again, it starts to turn around, so it kind of hit the floor in that sense. Now, this becomes really, really strange, like you also saw before. So, oh god, let's stop it. And then there is the Tolbrin tent. This one looks a little bit strange, and as you can see, I just placed this one, by the way, and it is kind of, well, in the air. And if I start the simulation there, it basically, well, breaks right away. If I put it down to the level that it's supposed to be, because this one is, so it's not hanging in the air, then it kind of pops up and does that. Guys, do you ever take a fucking break? Seriously? Okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm not checking out any machines today. You have fun with the Besiege cube. But yeah, basically what it does is pop up quite like that, right? And that is because it's not static. That's basically it, right? So if I take the force static thing, it still has the dirt pattern whenever I put it down, but now it actually doesn't fall and break itself. And I can even put it like this, like sort of 2/3 down into the ground. It still works. But I guess the real thing is, yeah, somewhere around right there. I do know for a fact that if you want to make a level where this tent here does not have the dirt patch kind of explodey thing beneath it, what you need to do is select the ones from the new sandbox, because they don't have that. Now, a lot of people may also be just a little bit frightened about what has happened to their game when they open the game with the mod. So I'm gonna show you this because this may freak you out the first couple of times, but this is basically a necessity. So I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna copy the windmill and the tree right there. So let's get into the other level. Come on, there we go. I'm gonna say, yeah, that one right there, that has the cannon. There we go, we got the cannon, and then the tent right there. Okay, so I'm gonna close down the game, and then I'm gonna open it, and you guys can see what happens. And here we go. As you can see, I just started up the level, and that was very, very quick, but it loaded the 2 levels that I took the objects from. That is necessary to be able to happen, to actually load everything in. Also, when you load another level, let's say you load another person's level, it will load all of the levels that that person has taken objects from. Alright, it is time to hop back into this sandbox here, because I told you guys that there was something a little bit weird with building in this sandbox here, and there is. I'll show you exactly what that is. So, you can basically select any, well, object around, or any object that fits the, you know, the criteria for working with the mod, and then what you need to do is put it down there. Now, you cannot move this around. You cannot rotate it, you cannot rescale it, but you can delete it. That's a little bit strange. I'm going to try to put down just a few more cottages there. So basically what is happening is there is this fog, like on the horizon of the sandbox there, and I've been talking with the developer of the mod, and he told me that was what was wrong, or at least he thought so. And honestly, I still don't fully understand it, but what you need to know is that if you need to build in the sandbox or the barren expanse, you must clear the level first. Now, let's just take a look at this, because if I just put on, well, a lot of these, actually a ton of these, and let's just say a few barrels here and there, and it doesn't really matter where they're static or not, but these are at the moment. Right, then I'm gonna hop in here, I'm gonna save the level, and I'm not gonna open this right now, because there's a lot of things in there that I don't want to spoil, but I'm gonna open this now, and I'm gonna save this, and we'll be right back. Alright, so I have reloaded a sandbox here because you can actually still load in your level regardless of not whether you cleared the sandbox first. It's just the building and the moving around with the objects that is a little bit weird. So if I just, well, I don't even clear the level, but I'm gonna load the level, and I will again make a little bit of a weird jump cut because this is kind of private. Yeah, but I'll be right back, I guess. There we go. As you can see, I have all of my houses. My lovely, lovely houses. So, in case any of you guys want to make some sort of custom twist on a map, I guess you can do that here. Or any other map for that matter. I'm just trying to say, like, if you want more houses in a, like, certain map on Tolbrand or Epsilon, that's cool. You can basically do that. You don't even need to save the other level first and then resave that to your level, basically, because that takes way too much. And also, because these things work as game objects like the way they would in a regular map, if there is a map where you have to destroy some cottages, I'm not too sure whether or not these actually count. Alright, so I guess the very last thing is not really that important, even though it is kind of nice to have, which is actually a very, very nice thing to have. So, what I'm going to do here is copy down the fir tree, the little old chicken there, and then the windmill right over here. And of course I got every single thing that I selected into my little list here. So these little 3 buttons that are green to the right of it, there's a lot of buttons, but the green ones with a little dash, they basically mean that you can hide that object, not from the level and not from the game, just from the list. So if I, for instance, say I would love to hide this little fir tree there, I simply click it, and if I want it to show again, I can go into display hidden, and in case I want it back in the list, I can just re-click the button, and everything is fine. And I guess this one right here is a little bit different, but I'm also going to show you that, and what better way to show it than with the old chicken right here. So basically what this does is it activates different game-related objects or instances related to the object. So in case I put that on and then I place a chicken, you can see there's blood all around because that's what happens when they die. So I guess the level maker kind of disobeys the rules of the game just a little bit, but hey, that's what mods are for. Isn't it also no bounds? Anybody? Yeah, that defies the limits. But either ways, guys, thank you so much for watching a very, very small sum up of the Level Maker mod. Again, this is a sum up, and there will be a video out tomorrow, I think, where I'm going to talk more about the skin pack that I have, because this right here, yeah, that's a freaking skin pack that I also have used, which is pretty freaking insane. So in case you want to build a machine like that and you send it with the level, it's going to look even better. But either ways, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.